There are animals and other lower forms of life which have some of the senses developed much more acutely than the senses of man. In the case of dogs, in the case of moths, whales, and migratory birds, we find there are senses which inform them about their surroundings or about other matters as they do not do in the case of man, and we have also no explanation for the sharpness and acuteness of their senses. We have also no knowledge about the brain, how it functions, and what fuel sustains it in its day-to-day work. With these gaps in our knowledge, it seems to me to be unscientific to insist on a doctrine or a theory which still does not stand proven to the hilt. For this reason, I think it is better to have an open mind on this question, both in respect of the creationists and the evolutionists, and try to find an explanation which better suits the phenomenon. So far as the creationist theory is concerned, it stands on the story of Genesis as contained in the Bible. It is not supported by the revealed material of the Vedas or even the Buddhists. In the Vedas, the explanation for the existence of man is more or less of the evolutionary kind. The spirit, the embodied spirit, starts from the lowest form of life, and in a cycle of 840,000 lives, it completes the circle until it reaches the stature of a man. And there also its future depends on the karma that it does in a particular life. So from that point of view, the Indian view is nearer to the theory of evolution, with this difference that it is not the material elements but the spirit which evolves. I believe that life is the product of another element of creation which is entirely dissimilar to the material elements. The universe is not only what we perceive through our senses, but it contains other energies and forces of which we have no awareness at all. It is these energies and forces that come into play in psychic phenomena, in the enlightenment of the great prophets of the earth, and in other paranormal and or abnormal phenomena of the mind. Modern science has summarily rejected all experiences of religion for the simple reason that the scientists never experimented with religion itself. If it were to do so on the lines as has been done in India for the last thousands of years, I am sure that their attitude will change and they too will come to understand the force which is behind the phenomena of life.
In your various writings, you have spoken of the law which governs our activity and the course of our civilization. Can you clarify what is the law?
There is a growing tendency, even among the scientists, to believe that mind has an independent existence of its own, that it is not an epiphenomenon or a product of the brain cells entirely, but only the manifestation of a force which is beyond our comprehension at present. In fact, some of the psychologists have openly come out with this explanation of the mind. William James is one of them. McDougall is another. The last named believes even in the existence of a soul. Now the point is, if it is admitted that mind has an independent existence and that the human mind forms the part of a whole which is beyond our observation, and that this mind continues to exist irrespective of our bodies, it cannot be supposed that this world of the mind, this reservoir or this ocean, is without laws of its own. It must have its own laws, as we have laws in the physical universe. Religious revelation has come solely to bring this fact to the notice of mankind, that there is something beyond the phenomenal world which is imperceptible to our eyes, but which can be observed or experienced by means of certain disciplines and a righteous way of life. This means there is a law which rules our destiny as human beings with a soul. This law has been imperfectly and partially revealed in the various scriptures of mankind. It is my endeavor also to reveal this law as far as I have been able to observe during the whole course of my long experience of this state. What is this law is very hard to be put precisely into words. But what type of a life this law demands, what type of behavior, what type of thinking, and what type of society is apparent and can be corroborated from a study of all the religions of mankind. What it demands is that human beings should lead a peaceful and harmonious life, moderate and according to principles which are for the good of other human beings and also the society as a whole. There should be no exploitation, no aggression, no action or thought which in any way affects the welfare of another human being. When we compare these commandments issued by the prophets of mankind based on their own experience of a higher state of consciousness, we can readily see that the present world is behaving and acting in a completely opposite way.